The Trump administration, all of the intelligence services, the alphabet agencies, and their lackeys in the mainstream media over the last couple of weeks have put on an absolute clinic in dark horse psychological operations right in front of the American people, and nobody other than this channel, it seems, is calling them out. People just want to talk about what they want them to talk about, but nobody takes the helicopter view and says, wait a minute, why are we talking about this in this way? Case in point, of course, the U.S. government voting as to whether it should be open or not and who's going to get what money and all this nonsense. This is not something that should be celebrated. It's their job. And doing a simple budget, meaning allocating the money they've already stolen from us, is not something that people should be applauding no matter what side you're on, whether you're on the left, whether you're on the right. This is the key to PSYOPs, is understanding what's really going on and not falling into the trap of, well, either you're for this or you're against that or this other. What really bothers me the most is how this is affecting kids in America and teenagers, because they're now dragged into this with the simple idea that could just be as thus. I wonder if they're going to vote so that we can go to the grocery store tomorrow. That's all it is for them. I wonder if they do this when we're going to get our food stamp money so that mom and dad can quit stressing out and we can go get groceries. It's just that simple. See, even a kid can understand this. That's where a lot of Americans are. And there are also Americans out there, those of you who aren't on food stamps, that are also stressed because, well, we're blessed. We're not on food stamps, but we may have to step in and help some people that we know who are. Where are we going to come up with that extra money going into the holidays? The grand total effect being everybody just freezes and they want to escape. They want to just sleep. How many of you have had this experience recently? You know, if I could just get a good solid 8 hours sleep, I'll be fine. We'll deal with tomorrow. And maybe you go take a Benadryl or something and you wake up and you're not any better. Like, wait a minute, that used to work. That used to work. I used to be able to just, turn off everything and shut everything off and put it all out of my mind. And if I just get, maybe go for a jog, maybe get, some exercise in, yeah, that'll do it. But then the next day, it's just as bad. Now, real quick, before we get into this, and what people really need to be using to focus on actually getting better, God bless all of you who've joined us at the Florida Monkey Patreon channel, where we've been talking about this idea for years. Pardon me. I started seeing this years and years ago, and it reminded me of my time way back in the military. I'm like, wow, this is the crap they were teaching us in interrogation school about how to break people down. They're just using it in the media now. And I'm like, I've got to do a Patreon channel on this. I absolutely have to get this out. I started talking about it on YouTube, and then YouTube precipitously, absolutely caved the numbers on my channel virtually overnight, even though I talked about other things. I talked about Venezuela, talked about Antarctica, talked about the issues with the USS Fitzgerald, talked about a great many things. But that was the thing that did it. Now, if you'd like to join us, real quick, Florida Monkey Patreon channel, as always, 4 levels over there. You get big discounts if you sign up for an entire year. Whatever level God puts on your heart, God bless you for doing it. I really do appreciate it. I'm actually humbled by how many people have signed up. But here's the best part. If something comes up, if there's a financial issue, or if it's just not for you, fully refundable first 90 days. That's right, 90 days you have. Not a week, not 2 weeks, a lot of things coming up shopping coming up, holidays coming up, things to do with kids, all that kind of stuff. I know sometimes you just don't have the time to sit down and watch videos. That's fine. 90 days. Middle of December, middle of January, middle of February, almost, before you'd have to really make a decision. So, God bless all of you. How many of you remember the series we talked about a long time ago? Colony. Carlton Cuse. Remember the aliens and the drones and the wall and all this kind of stuff? The first episode of the third season, was actually titled Maquis. Believe it or not. But one of the things that the aliens did before they actually invaded was they sent down advance teams to find out where these really good middle manager types were. And they were going to put them in charge. And they did. And this was one of them. It was a character named Alan Snyder. And he was speaking to a group of people, and he said, look, no one can change our present situation. It's immovable. The aliens have won. We've lost. So instead, everyone needs to try to appreciate the good things. Now, does that or does that not sound exactly like what the government is trying to get everybody on board with right now? Whether you're on the left and you want to see the Trump administration go away, you want to see the end of them, you want to be seen as pushing back and fighting back, even amongst the leftists who for a long time were these, let's keep fighting, let's keep fighting, let's keep fighting. That's not what they're saying now. They're saying, look, he's going to be in charge for X amount of time. Let's try to just appreciate the good things we have. And for those of you on the right who are sorely disappointed, especially with the Epstein files, and now we've got yet another terrorist making his way through the halls of the West Wing, shaking hands with the president. Trying to find, let's see if I got that picture here somewhere. Oh, yeah. Yeah, here you go. Here's the president shaking hands with another terrorist. Another terrorist? Yeah. Yeah, he had shaken hands with Muhammadu Buhari a few times during his first administration. So Buhari, of course, was the leader of Nigeria who said that he would never stop agitating for Sharia to rule the globe, all this stuff. For those of you who are perplexed and wondering, how in the world can we appreciate the good things? Well, go look at the news. Everybody is going to be clapping their hands and cheering, yay, the government is open. The government is reopened. They've made a deal. They're working together. That's psyops, folks. It should have never been here. It should have never been here. That's like a criminal being released from prison after having done 10 years for armed robbery, and people applauding that, oh my gosh, you know what? 2 weeks have gone by, and he hasn't robbed anybody with a gun. A month has gone by, and the armed robber hasn't robbed anybody. We should be applauding that and being thankful that the criminals don't commit crimes. That's psyops, folks. But it's easy to do. It's easy to do. This is yet another quote from another guy in the series Colony, Everett Kynes. The way to control the democratic society isn't through fear. It's through distraction. That's partially true. You see, these middle managers that they put in charge in this series, and the series, it's called Colony. It's not The Colony or A Colony. It's just called Colony. It's 3 seasons. Go watch it. It's amazing. They put these people in charge to just kind of make sure that everyone stays, at a low roar. They don't try to completely control everybody, but those out there who have problems or those who want to protest, as long as they don't do it in a way that interrupts society, it's not a problem until the red hats show up. And yes, this is from Colony. Red hats. covered faces, cameras on helmets, randomly picking people up and shipping them off. See, they wanted there to be a level of normalcy. So after the war with the aliens is over, they put these middle managers out there and they start to say, look, reopen your bars. Have people go out and relax. And yes, we're in charge now. But we're going to restore some level of normalcy. Does that not sound like what's going on in the government right now? Yay, we're going to reopen the government, start getting people paychecks again, going into the holidays, and reestablish some level of normalcy so that you say, thank you, government. Thank you, government, for going over and above to do your job. But boy, I tell you what. You cross these people, though. You say, hey, we can't put up with this crap anymore. We need a different way of doing things so that we're not put in this position every 6 months, every 3 months, every year. We live in a moment where we do what we have to do for the people that we love. The old rules just don't apply. Sarah Wayne Kayes, the character Katie Bowman. Once again, it's like they knew. It's like they knew. A lot of people remember Sarah Wayne from Prison Break or from The Walking Dead. Personally, her best stuff was those 3 seasons of Colony. Absolutely the best stuff out there. Because she maintains a rational state regardless of the psyops being run by these middle managers. Nothing bad about thinking to yourself. Now, in the real world, breaking, Italy's birth rate has dropped to a record low of 1.13 children per woman. The lowest rate of births since 1861. Italy to grant 600,000 illegal migrants right to stay. See, these illegal migrants are coming, of course, from Africa, where the birth rate, the only place in the world, by the way, where there's a replacement rate. That's where these guys are coming from. All these men are coming to Italy to start having babies with Italian girls. Because Italian men won't. Why? It's not because of chemtrails making everybody impotent. No. Homosexuality, free pornography, day after pills, abortions, all sorts of other options. Plus, there's the shame factor. How many of you remember from Game of Thrones? The woman with the bell. Shame, shame, shame. You're probably wondering what it has to do with this little blurb here. You see, the standard for Europe, and ladies, I know you're not going to like this, but it's the reality. The standard that led to the rise of the population of Europe, of the Renaissance, of the Golden Age, of the discovery of the New World, of America. The standard was men at the earliest, usually their late 20s, early 30s, early to mid 30s was usually when they started seeking a wife who was in a position where she could have 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 6 kids. And the only women out there that physically had the ability to endure 5 or 6 back-to-back pregnancies were girls who were 17, 18, 19 years old, sometimes even a little bit before that. The idea of 36 and 16 did not used to be something that was globally shamed. Because for a man at that time to have enough financial wherewithal to have a home, to provide for a wife, and then also provide for those 5 or 6 children, he's needed 10 or 20 years as an adult to get to that level. but it's been shamed in this country for decades. The idea of even that little 20-year age difference. Try it now. Try it now without some alternate form of income coming in, whether it's food stamps or whether it's alternative, whatever, OnlyFans, whatever. Extra money coming in and affording kids these days. And then when you add in this, you add in this idea that some men are just like, it's just too much. I mean, I'm being called toxically masculine literally every morning. I get up, everything I see on the news, basically it calls me, the greatest problem, threat to society. The less masculine I try to act, the less I desire to even want to be around women, much less have babies with them. The dowry, and you can look this up, the dowry that the father of the bride used to provide for wasn't simply to cover the astronomical cost of a modern American wedding. That money was for her maintenance and upkeep, to alleviate the financial stress. The dowry, the reason, those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, what a dowry is, the reason we have this idea in ridiculous modern American marriage that the family of the bride pays for the wedding, it has to go back to the days of the dowry, where basically a man had to sell his daughter. And not in the sense that he got any money for her, he had to offer money that comes along with her, so that she could have the opportunity to provide heirs for men. Meaning, start having babies right now, and lots of them. This Romeo and Juliet nonsense that we have been prescribed to and brainwashed into the last 20 to 25 years has destroyed the West, destroyed European values, and destroyed this country. This idea of two 18 or 19 or 20-year-olds getting married and beginning to pop out kids, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? There's no way a young man now in America could make enough money without government assistance to pay for that many kids. The reason it was, for a short time, possible had to do with a great deal of socialism back in the 1960s and 70s. But even then it was getting very, very, very difficult. Had to do with a lot of demand for blue-collar labor and what things could be bought for. And I guess the last thing I'll say, those of you out there, the ladies out there specifically, saying, we get what you're saying, Maki, but there just aren't that many good guys out there. There never have been. This is from Hamlet. And he's talking to Ophelia. And she's basically reading him the riot act about why he's, even as a prince, not good enough for her. Because he's behaved this way, and he's behaved that way, and this other way. And she's going to wait and try to find somebody better. And so he replies to her, "Go thy ways to a nunnery. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do crawling between earth and heaven, where errant knaves, all believe none of us? Go thy ways to a nunnery. If you think you're going to do better, go, you might as well just go, give yourself, in pious service to the Lord for the rest of your life, based on the standards she had described to him." And I think a lot of men have felt this way. This whole toxic masculinity garbage, all this Me Too nonsense, all this crap with Epstein, all this garbage where people are just inventing crimes that didn't exist at the time and focusing on them while the country is on fire. And even a place like Italy, if you could have accused Italian men of one thing, it was never the idea that they didn't want to have babies. In fact, Italian men are probably, at least in my lifetime, had been known for being notoriously the most promiscuous of men. They wanted to spread their seed everywhere. Not that was being a good Catholic boy, but that's, that's where Rome is. So if even Italian men aren't having children. Oh, and they don't believe me. These are Roman Catholics. They don't believe in birth control. And yeah, you might have the one guy who's, he's got, Maria, over here, and she's got one or two, and then he's got, Sophia over there, and she's got one or two. Yeah, that's kind of always been the way. And yeah, biblical, you can debate it. David had many wives. Solomon had many wives. But the idea was children, was babies. And if the Italians can't do it, what hope is there for the rest of us? But propaganda. Nobody's talking about the real problem. The real reason we have the immigration problem in this country is because we don't have people to fill the jobs. Why? Because for the last 30 years, nobody's been having babies. Because we were too toxically masculine. So I will leave it there. God bless. Pray for each other. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.